Of all the technologies Batman uses, there's one that's gotten him out of more tight spots than any other: his utility belt.
Hasn't every kid who read these comic books had a utility belt? Didn't you have a utility belt when you were a kid?
Batman's gadget-packed wonder is not unlike kits used by counterintelligence crime fighters, though Batman's belt is more compact.
Batman used the technology that was available to him at the time. Our traveling technical officers do the same thing. They carry a small kit with commercially available items. The kit even contains lock-picking devices, just like Batman's, but ours requires special membership and ID.
Over the years, Batman's utility belt has contained scores of gadgets, some of them more far-fetched than others.
I always thought the rebreather was very cool. A rebreather is something that you sort of fit in your mouth and allows you to breathe underwater for a short period of time, longer than you could by holding your breath.
But many of Batman's gadgets are based in real technology. Take, for instance, his flexible fiber optic periscope.
Fiber optics are very common materials now. You can see them in a lot of kid toys. They're the nice little glass fibers at the end that shine the lights out the end. And basically what you do is bend light. Then as the light tries to bounce out of the tube, it actually reflects back in. We call this total internal reflection. The light stays inside the device. Even if you bend it through a fairly sharp angle or curve, it's the properties of the material it's made out of that keeps the light inside the fiber. And so you can take this periscope made out of fiber optics and bend it around corners and twist it around as much as you need to get where you want to look, and the light coming in one end will come out the other, and you can see what you're looking at.
It's you, isn't it? The other kids won't believe me.
Of course, other tools in Batman's belt are more lethal. His thermite bombs work like hand grenades do.
What Batman would be very successful at is getting through doors, windows.
A more unusual weapon is Batman's signature Batarang, the Dark Knight's version of a boomerang.
The Batarang was always my favorite. I always thought that was the coolest. Every kid in their own home was sitting there trying to build their own Batarang and see if they work.
Each arm of a real boomerang is contoured like an airplane wing. When thrown, the rotating airfoils help give the device lift, similar to the way propellers lift a helicopter. A boomerang circles back to its launching point due to gyroscopic precession, a phenomenon that causes a spinning object to maintain its axis and direction as it rotates. Some of Batman's Batarangs have similar aerodynamics, but others, outfitted with cumbersome items like flashbulbs, cameras, police whistles, and bombs, might have more trouble getting off the ground. In Batman Begins, the Batarang was entirely reconceptualized as a martial arts-style throwing star.
The Batarang was a very early piece of equipment of Batman's, and we felt it was very important to sort of make that part of his belt, but it had to be a very high-tech version of it, so it's smaller, but it's still a pretty lethal weapon.
My bats lost away.
Bats frightened me. This time my enemies shared my dread.
But the most famous use of the Batarang in the comics is as a grappling tool, a device that has now evolved into a grappling gun. And like many others, this technology is anchored solidly in science.
To have the grappling hook reach the top of the building, this is relatively easy. You're not looking at, I think, anything more powerful than some very simple spring-loaded guns, air guns, compressor things that you could easily imagine in the size of the handgun.
Batman's grappling system also packs enough power to lift the Dark Knight off the ground and into the air in mere seconds. That much liftoff would take a powerful motorized mechanism, one that factors in both Batman's weight and speed of travel.
If you look in the movie and estimate the speeds he's going up, you're looking at a power that's around 5,000 watts. To put that in perspective, typical light bulbs are 60 or 100 watts. So you're talking, maybe 50 times the power in a standard light bulb. That might sound like a lot, but it's not too bad. You can actually generate that power. And in fact, people have made devices that can pull people up.
One of those devices is the Atlas-powered rope ascender, used by the U.S. Army.
The Atlas is really similar in a lot of ways to what Batman's using right out of the comic book or the movies. The system is designed to pull a very large load up a rope extremely quickly. It's great for rapid escape, search and rescue, all sorts of things that Batman's actually doing.
The Atlas also lets its user do a controlled descent down the side of a building or mountain. And its mechanism is relatively simple.
It's a lot like a capstan winch on a sailboat. And the capstan basically gives you a very strong circumferential grip around something round when you apply a load to the rope. To engage the rope, you simply wrap it around that capstan winch mechanism in the device, close the lid, and pull the trigger. To operate it, it's like a portable drill, variable speed trigger. You pull the trigger more, you're going to go up faster.
Built for combat search and rescue and other vertical tactical operations, the Atlas can swiftly lift over 500 pounds. So just like Batman's grappling system, carrying 2 people isn't a problem.
A fully loaded soldier is always going to weigh at least about 300 pounds. In the infantry, the lightest pack load that men have is about 75 pounds. From there on, it only gets heavier. So we want to be able to accommodate a soldier and a fully loaded pack at all times. Additionally, if you need to use this device for rescue, it makes it so that you can clip yourself and an additional person in and lift them both at the same time. We built more like a truck that's for vertical operations. So this system's rugged, it can be used a lot, it's got very long battery life, and can lift a very high load repeatedly. So this is more of a utilitarian system than what Batman actually has.
Batman's utility belt may be the ultimate in compact crime fighting, but the Caped Crusader doesn't always think small. And Batman tech doesn't get any bigger or cooler than an automobile that's become a pop culture icon.
At least tell me what it looks like. Never mind.